7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the February 23rd, 2023 meeting of the Brisbane Planning Commission. This virtual meeting is compliant with the Ralph M. Brown Act as amended by California Assembly Bill number 361, effective September 16th, 2021, providing for a public health emergency exception to the standard teleconference rules required by the Brown Act. The purpose of this is to provide a safe environment for the public, staff, and planning commissioners, while allowing for public participation. The Planning Commission meeting is being broadcasted on Comcast Channel 27 and the city's YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/BrisbaneCA. The agenda materials may be viewed online at www.brisbaneca.org/meetings. All written comments submitted before 2 p.m. of the day of the meeting have already been provided to the Commission and available for public inspection at the front lobby in the City Hall and online at www.brisbaneca.org/meetings. Any writings received after the agenda has been posted, but after 2 p.m. of the day of the meeting, will be available online at the start of the meeting at www.brisbaneca.org/meetings, at which time the materials will be distributed to the Commission. For those who did not provide written comments, a call-in telephone number was provided on the agenda, which can be viewed online at www.brisbaneca.org/meetings. The phone number and instructions will also be provided during the meeting. Participants in the Zoom webinar may make their comments through Zoom. Please note that the Zoom participants will only be able to address the Commission verbally. I will announce time limits for public comment during the particular item. Staff, can we please have a roll call?
Commissioner Funka? You're on mute.
I'm so sorry, I ticked the wrong browser window. Aye.
Commissioner Gooding?
Present.
Commissioner Patel?
Here.
Commissioner Sayasan?
Here.
And I believe Commissioner Lau is absent.
At this time, I would ask for a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt. Second.
Staff, can we please have a voice vote?
Commissioner Funka?
Aye.
Commissioner Gooding?
Aye.
Commissioner Patel?
Aye.
Commissioner Sayasan?
Aye.
The motion passes with 4 ayes. At this time, I would ask if any members of the public or any commissioners would like to pull an item from the consent calendar. Any Zoom participants who want to pull an item from the consent calendar, please raise your hand by pressing the raise hand button or by pressing *9 on the phone if you have called in. Staff will start a timer for 30 seconds for members of the public to pull an item.
Ten seconds. All right, 30 seconds has elapsed and no one has raised their hand or requested to remove anything from the consent calendar.
Thank you. Can I please have a motion to adopt the consent calendar as presented?
I'll make a motion to adopt it.
Second.
Staff, can we please have a voice vote?
Commissioner Funka?
Aye.
Commissioner Gooding?
Aye.
Commissioner Patel?
Aye.
Commissioner Sayasan?
Aye.
The motion passes with 4 ayes. Moving on to oral communications. Oral comments not on items not on the agenda can be called in by calling the teleconference number in the next 1 minute or made by participants in the Zoom webinar. Staff will display the call-in number on the screen, and any Zoom meeting participants should raise their hand to indicate to staff that they would like to address the commission on items not on the agenda. Callers must press *9 to raise their hands. Staff will set a timer for 1 minute. While we're waiting for oral communications, we did receive some written communications, but I believe that those have already been distributed and posted. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Were there any additional written communications that that we haven't received or that you received after the time had elapsed?
No.
10 seconds. All right, 1 minute has elapsed and no one has raised their hand or come forward to speak about items not on the agenda.
Thank you. Moving through the agenda, there is no old business, so I would move forward to new business. Staff, can we please have the presentation on the public hearing regarding 1000 Marina grading review?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Commission. So the request before you tonight is for grading review for grading associated with extension of the Bay Trail at 1000 Marina Boulevard, involving about 1,700 cubic yards of soil cut, 222 cubic yards of soil fill, and about 1,500 cubic yards of soil export from the site. So just a little bit of background on this request. So this property is located in Sierra Point subarea, just south of 3,500 Marina Boulevard, which, as you all remember, in the last several years, obtained design permit approvals for a 3-building biotech campus, which is currently under construction. As a part, and the same owner owns both 3,000 to 3,500 Marina and 1,000 Marina. So in 2019, the Genesis Marina project at 3,000 Marina required approval by the San Francisco Bay Conservation and Development Commission for development, as certain development on the site fell within the 100-foot shore band, which BCDC retains permitting authority over. So as a part of the 2019 permit approval that BCDC granted for that project, they included as a condition of approval that the Bay Trail be extended south from the 3,000 to 3,500 Marina Boulevard property over 1,000 Marina Boulevard, which directly abuts it to the south, in order to provide a complete connection along that western and southern boundary of 1,000 Marina to continue the trail to a terminus at Marina Boulevard. So this project is coming out of that BCDC requirement. So again, BCDC maintains the permitting authority over all public amenities within that 100-foot shore band boundary. The city is responsible for processing entitlement permits, which are, for this example, a grading review, as well as building and grading permits by the city engineer. So the site is currently developed, was developed in the late 70s, early 80s. It is occupied with an office building that's fully occupied, transitioning into life sciences and biotech, as we're seeing a lot out there in Sierra Point. I've highlighted here on the site plan the approximate alignment and location over the existing site plan of the proposed Bay Trail extension. So as you can see here, the proposed alignment would terminate at the northwestern corner of Marina Boulevard and Sierra Point Parkway. Do want to just make a note, as stated in the staff report, that the city engineer is currently in preliminary designs for some additional intersection improvements at this intersection that will impact grading specifically at the location of the terminus at Marina Boulevard, slightly increase the cut associated with that trail in order to make sure that it's at the correct elevation to connect to those planned improvements. Because of the evolving nature of and preliminary phase of that design, we've included as a condition of approval in the resolution tonight that the applicant work with the city engineer as those plans evolve to make sure that whatever final grading plan is proposed in their grading permit application, it conforms with those preliminary design requirements. And here's some excerpts from the grading plan itself, which we'll go over in a little bit more detail later. And the proposed site plan. So the trail itself would be about just under 800 linear feet long. The paved portion for pedestrian use would be 12 feet wide asphalt, and there would be 3-foot decomposed granite shoulders on either side. There would also be fencing on either side of the trail as well. Different types of fencing on the western versus eastern side, which are described in the details in the submitted plans. So to accommodate the trail alignment, about 20 parking spaces need to be removed. Those spaces will be replaced elsewhere on the site. So there will be no net loss of parking. To accommodate the parking lot reconfiguration and the Bay Trail extension itself, the project would reduce on-site landscaping, currently at about 37% of the site to 31% of the site. This is still well in excess of the minimum 25% minimum landscaping requirement that's in the SPCRO zoning district regulations. And then it also should be noted, the Sierra Point design guidelines do allow for land devoted to public access corridors to be considered as additional landscape areas. So 32 trees are proposed for removal from this site. That would leave about 90 trees existing, and the applicants proposed replanting 39 trees, so a net increase in the tree count on the site. Their removal is primarily due to direct conflict with the proposed trail location. A handful are proposed to be removed for health or condition reasons. And the replacement trees themselves are all New Zealand Christmas trees, which we can go over in a little bit more detail in the findings section. So as the commission may recall, the grading ordinance was recently amended to codify some of the existing guidelines the commission had used for many years in order to review these applications. So these findings are now actually embedded into BMC chapter 15.01 in the grading permit chapter. So in general, findings are detailed in the staff report. I won't belabor them here, but I'll give a brief summary. So in regards to the design of the grading itself, we must find that it reflects or fits comfortably with the site context and natural topography. So the site, it's not necessarily steeply sloped, but the areas where the trail is proposed within the western and southern perimeter of the site actually does feature some variation in topography. These are all outside of the already kind of developed footprint of the site. So as shown in the sections and profiles and the civil plans, in order to achieve a level walking surface, a surface that has slope percentages that comply with ADA requirements, that's basically driving the required cut and fill to achieve the required slopes for the pathway itself. And then in regards to retaining walls, so there are very few retaining walls proposed here, mostly due to, again, this is not a super steeply sloped site. The largest wall is proposed in the northernmost section of the site where the trail connects to the 3000 Marina site above. This is where there's the greatest kind of difference in grade, so there's requires some fill there. The retaining wall in that location would be about 4 feet high above grade, so still a relatively low wall. It would also be basically located in such a manner that it's not visible from either on the site or the trail. And the applicant has proposed plantings with California native plants that would provide some level of screening as well, but again, a fairly low wall. Other walls located along other parts of the trail are typically no taller than like a foot above grade, and also would be partially screened by plantings as shown in the landscape plan. Finally, regarding tree removal. So again, as mentioned previously, they would be removing 32 trees from the site due to direct conflict with the trail alignment, and some which are in poor condition and need to be removed for good arborist practices. None of the trees on site are California Bay laurels, coast live oak, or California buckeye. No street trees are proposed to be removed. A lot of the trees to be removed, primarily it's Lombardy poplars and Monterey pines. In addition to being in direct conflict with the proposed alignment, they're not in good health either. And we've seen that a lot out at Sierra Point with those particular species kind of reaching the end of their typical lifespans, are not doing very well. So the replacement trees, again, are proposed to all be New Zealand Christmas trees. These are pretty hardy trees. There are already a lot of them out there in Sierra Point for good reason. They're pretty well adapted to the relatively harsher conditions that are out there with high wind and fog and poor soils. So we think it's an appropriate species. So I'll wrap up my report there. We are recommending approval of the request, subject to the conditions and findings included in the resolution attached to the report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do any of the commissioners have questions for staff? Vice Chair Funky?
I do not. No, it sounds straightforward to me.
Commissioner Saison?
I don't have any questions either.
Commissioner Gooding? I think he said no, thank you. I was just reading his lips though.
Sorry, no, thank you.
I also don't have any questions. So at this time, I would open the public hearing.
Chair Patel, while you're
Thanks.
doing that, could we just note for the record that the written correspondence you received was in regard to this item? So I just want to get that into the record.
Oh, yes. Sorry, that in my cheat sheet that comes 2 things down, but I can do it right now. So before we move into oral communications, I believe we received 2 letters opposed, or 2 separate letters from the same person opposed to this resolution, and I believe that they have been published on on our website.
Correct.
Though at this time, I would open up the public hearing and ask if the applicant wants to speak.
Great. We have Kyle Mars, the applicant here, and Kyle, you should be able to talk.
Yeah, and thanks for having us tonight. No, that was a really great presentation provided. Really appreciate that. And we think this is a good add to the city. Just kind of continues the bait trail from the 3500 all the way around to an intersection where you go more bike trails from there. But yeah, we think it's a great add, and thanks for all your time tonight as well.
Do any of the commissioners have any questions for the applicant? I do not see that any of the commissioners have any questions for the applicant. So I would ask that we open up the public hearing, and if staff could display the call-in number on the screen. And if anyone that is already on the Zoom webinar wants to participate, please raise your hand and if for callers, please press *9.
One minute. Twenty seconds. All right, 2 minutes has elapsed and no remote or in-person member of the public wishes to speak.
Okay. At this time, I would make a motion to close public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
Staff, can we please have a voice vote?
Commissioner Funka,
Aye.
Commissioner Gooding.
Aye.
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Saison.
Aye.
The motion passes with 4 ayes. At this time, we will begin our deliberations. Does anyone want to share their thoughts?
None here.
Commissioner Saison?
No, yeah, it's pretty straightforward, like Commissioner Funka said, so no questions, comments.
Commissioner Funka?
I have none. Nothing to add or anything that would change my mind. I was just reading through the correspondence that we received, which referred basically to, I think, some enhancements you could contemplate, things like benches, water fountains, interpretive signs that had to do with the Bay Trail and things like that, which I think are not, I think they would be nice to have, but I don't think that it can necessarily be an expectation of the developer to add those. But I just wanted to acknowledge that we read those. And it doesn't really change my interpretation or my decision tonight, because I think it's an 800-foot extension. You're complying with the agreement of the development. So I just want to acknowledge, I just want to make sure I had read it and understood what was being asked for.
Does anyone want to make a motion to approve grading review permit 2023-EX-1?
I will move for adoption with the findings recommended by staff.
I will second. Staff, can we please have a voice vote?
Commissioner Funka,
Aye.
Commissioner Gooding.
Aye.
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Saison.
The motion passes with 4 ayes. Anyone may appeal the action of the Planning Commission to the City Council. Except where specified otherwise, appeals shall be filed with the city clerk no later than 15 days following the Planning Commission's decision. Exceptions to the 15-day filing period include the following. Appeals shall be filed with the city clerk within 6 calendar days of the Planning Commission's actions for use permits and variances, and 10 calendar days for tentative maps and advertising sign applications. An application form and fee is required to make a formal appeal. For additional information, please contact the city clerk at area code 415-508-2110. Moving along with the agenda, staff, can we please have a report on item D, public hearing on 575-B Tunnel Road, the interim use permit?
Yes, thank you, Chair Patel and Planning Commission. The applicant requests approval of a 5-year extension of the previously approved interim use permit UP 816. This would be to continue storage of up to 750 rental cars for Avis Budget Group on a vacant portion of the Baylands, which is located immediately east of the Transdev bus yard. It's for a temporary overflow lot for vehicles that are rented through San Francisco International Airport. The applicant has indicated that there have been delays with the construction of the rental car parking facility at SFO, and so continuation of the use is requested. The Planning Commission approved the original interim use permit in 2018 for a 5-year term. That permit is due to expire next month unless an extension is granted. Prior to commencement of the use in 2018, a 2-way driveway was provided along the southern edge of the Transdev bus yard for access to and from the site. The site was also surfaced with gravel. Also, a chain link fence was placed around the perimeter of the site for security. Additionally, 2 security cameras were placed at the entrance to the site per the Planning Commission's condition of approval at that time. A roving security guard also patrols the site. In terms of the daily operations, Avis drivers are shuttled by van to or from the site to either pick up or drop off individual rental vehicles. There are no permanent on-site personnel. The use may operate 7 days a week, although typically on Wednesdays, there are no vehicle trips reported by the applicant. Currently, the highest estimated average trip counts occur on Mondays and Fridays at 200 trips each per day. This is down from the 2018 average estimate of 400 trips per day on those higher usage days. The trips to and from the site are between the hours of 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. The travel routes are to and from SFO via Tunnel Avenue and Beatty Avenue. Vehicles are not permitted to utilize Lagoon Road per a condition of approval. Following the Planning Commission's hearing in 2018, the Commission also added a condition that the vehicle movement times were to exclude the hours of 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. each day. And that's to avoid peak traffic hours. The applicant's schedule complies with that. Note also that non-operable vehicles are not permitted to be stored at the site, and vehicle maintenance on the site is also prohibited. Also, lighting is not provided on the site, although there's a condition that could allow for that, but to date, the applicant has not made such a request. The applicant proposes to continue the use with no change to the previous approval. There are 6 findings for the Planning Commission to approve the interim use permit, and this application meets all of them. These were detailed in the agenda report and in the draft resolution. Also, this application was provided to North County Fire Authority, Department of Public Works, Police Department, County Health Department, and the Regional Water Quality Control Board for review, and no concerns were raised. So in closing, staff recommends approval of interim use permit application 2023 UP1, which would allow for the continuation of the existing use for another 5 years. And that'd be via adoption of the resolution, which contains the findings and conditions of approval. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to take those.
Do any of the commissioners have questions of staff? Commissioner Gooding,
No, thank you.
Commissioner Funke,
None for me.
Commissioner Saison?
None, thank you.
I also do not have any questions for staff. At this time, I would open the public hearing and ask if the applicant would like to speak.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Luis Quadra with Berg Davis Public Affairs, representing Baylands Development, Inc. Joining me are Avis representatives, Properties Director, Aaron Schwarzkopf, and Fleet Manager Andrew Crow. We're available to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Do any of the commissioners have questions for the applicant?
None for me. Thank you.
No, thank you.
I do not have any questions. Commissioner Saison?
Oh, none, thank you.
Staff has already displayed the call-in number on the screen. If there's anyone on the Zoom webinar that would like to make a public comment as to this agenda item, please raise your hand. If you're on the phone, please dial *9 to raise your hand. This screen will be up for 2 minutes. I do not believe that we received any written communications, either in support or in opposition on this agenda item.
That is correct.
One minute. Thirty seconds. All right, 2 minutes has elapsed. There are no remote or in-person members of the public wishing to speak.
Thank you. As such, I would make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Staff, can we please have a voice vote?
Commissioner Funke,
Aye.
Commissioner Gooding,
Aye.
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Saison.
Aye.
The motion passes with 4 ayes. At this time, we will begin our deliberations. Commissioner Saison, would you like to start? Do you have any comments that you'd like to make?
No, it seems like everything is in good order. We approved it previously and it seems that, they want to do pretty much the same thing and there's been no issues. So I'm all for supporting the renewal.
Thank you, Commissioner Saison. Commissioner Funke?
And this is a use that, as far as I know, hasn't raised any concerns, and I see no issues with renewing it.
Commissioner Gooding?
Yeah, likewise, I note that the original permit had some conditions that required them to confine their traffic to non-commute hours, if that were even, an issue, and it has not been. So I see no impediment to extending the permit.
Thank you, Commissioner Gooding. I would concur with all the comments made by the other commissioners. At this time, I would make a motion to adopt interim use permit 2023-UP-1.
I'll second.
Staff, can we please have a voice vote?
Commissioner Funke,
Aye.
Commissioner Gooding,
Aye.
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Saison.
Aye.
The motion passes with 4 ayes. Anyone may appeal the action of the Planning Commission to the City Council, except where specified otherwise. Appeals shall be filed with the City Clerk no later than 15 days following the Planning Commission's decision. Exceptions to the 15-day filing period include the following. Appeals shall be filed with the City Clerk within 6 calendar days of the Planning Commission's action for use permits and variances, and 10 calendar days for tentative maps and advertising sign applications. An application form and fee is required to make a formal appeal. For additional information, please contact the City Clerk at area code 415-508-2110. All right, moving along with the agenda, do we have any items initiated by staff?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. A couple items. One is that the council did consider the animal testing code amendment that the commission considered at your last meeting. They did go ahead and introduce the ordinance to make the amendments that were proposed. So they did go ahead and move forward with the amendments as originally contemplated. So any questions on that? Okay. The other couple things. One is a reminder that there is a planning commission training coming up at the end of March. So again, if anybody's interested, I'd encourage you to attend. The city has a budget for commissioners to attend. And so we would certainly encourage you if you're interested. I think commissioners who've been in the past would vouch that it can be a valuable experience and learn some things. So certainly encourage you if you have the time. You can reach out to technician Viana in the community development department, and he can work with you on registration and anything else. Pamela?
Yeah, actually, I was going to attend that, but I was told by my staff that it just closed. So yeah.
Okay, apologize. Should have checked on that. Okay, well, there'll be some more local trainings that come up, so we'll certainly keep you apprised if there are those opportunities, and to get you other training opportunities as they occur in the county or in the Bay Area. So apologize for that. And then the other item is when you do adjourn this evening to your March meeting, we'll be looking forward to seeing the commissioners in person in the March meeting. Staff and the commissioners will be attending in person, and the public will have the opportunity to attend either in person or remotely. So look forward to seeing all your bright and shining faces live in another month or so. I believe that is it, unless my staff has anything else I've forgotten.
I did have a couple more. There was a zoning administrator hearing on February 16th last week at 77 Golden Aster for a minor modification. So I wanted to report that the ZA did approve that. Part of the requirements are that we report ZA decisions to the commission. So if there's any questions on that, there's information on our website about that as well. And then the last thing, we've been communicating with former Commissioner Napalo Gomez. And as you may recall, we never really got to recognize him for his years of service on the commission. So now that we're looking to be back in person in March, we're hoping to have a resolution in his honor. I think it's the March 23rd meeting is what we're targeting at this point, with a backup meeting for the second meeting in April. So we'll be reaching out separately to ask you guys to contribute some memories so that we can write his resolution of recognition. And we're looking forward to finally recognizing him. Okay, that was all I had.
Thank you, staff. Are there any items initiated by the commission?
None for me.
None for me either. Commissioner Gooding?
No, I just want to congratulate our Commissioner Patel on looking remarkably well rested under his circumstances.
Thank you. The struggle is real with the sleeve. I didn't realize.
You're looking great.
Thank you. So moving on to the last item Should we do the selection of planning commission officers for 2023?
Yes.
I can make a motion. I would move that, or I would nominate Vice Chair Funka to be the commissioner, the chairperson for the next year.
I'll second.
Steph, do we have to do a voice vote?
Or let's just make sure are there any other nominations? Hearing none, yes, we can take a voice vote.
Okay.
I guess,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, should we do a voice vote? Sorry, staff, can we
Yes,
do
please.
staff, can we please do a voice vote?
Unless Commissioner Funka is objecting or rebutting, I'm not sure.
No, I understand that this is the fate of my generation. So aye.
Okay, Commissioner Funka, as an aye. Commissioner Gooding,
Aye.
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Saison.
Does anyone have a nomination for vice chair?
I will nominate Commissioner Lau for vice chair.
I'll second.
I would. Okay. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, staff, can we please have a voice vote?
Commissioner Funka,
Aye.
Commissioner Gooding,
Aye.
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Saison.
Aye.
Motion passes with 4 ayes.
So we can do that even though he's not here though, right?
He's
We
gonna
made
get a
him vice chair.
surprise.
It's like real life. Like if you miss a meeting, you get nominated. That's how it works.
Excellent. So I would ask to adjourn the meeting until our next regular scheduled meeting of March 9th, 2020. No, we're cancel. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I see that. The regular scheduled meeting of March 9th, 2023 has been canceled, and we'll adjourn to the regular meeting of March 23rd, 2023.
Okay. Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Congratulations again. Good night.
We'll see you live and up close and personal on the 23rd.